Hey everybody, welcome to our next Third Line Day video. I have my friend Rose Osman here, and she's our honorary projector. We're going to connect with today and drop into another, I guess I'm calling them type talk. So we're just we did Manifester last time, and Rose, I thought of you for Projectors, and great to have you here today and to connect with you. And like we were just saying, we've known each other for years, but I think this is the first time we've actually sat down and had a conversation together.
Yes, thank you for calling me out.
Yeah. Yeah,
Yeah.
I've been appreciating all your work and all that you've been doing, and just can tell you're really passionate about human design these days, and yeah, it's great to be on a team with you. So
They might feel the same.
yeah. So tell me a little bit about your human design experiment, and what's kind of up for you personally these days in your journey. How long have you been in your experiment for?
Well, I started human design in 2013. Um, I had a reading with Lynette Hagging, and she gave me a good overview that really impacted my undefined solar plexus. But I didn't take LYD until 3 years later. So if we're counting the deconditioning, the experiment starting from 2016 until now. So more or less about 6, 7 years in my experiment. And I really, when I reflect my life back, and I can see that I'm was really different person than who I am now. It's completely different. I enjoy my journey, despite the journey not always beautiful, but I enjoy and embrace it. I embrace my body more these days as a splenic projector. Also, understanding what or who I'm designed to be, with understanding the whole mechanic of me, the undefined solar plexus really there's a deep trauma in that undefined solar plexus, undefined ego is trying to prove myself. I'm also deeply conditioned to be a manifester. So I can see from my conversation, sometimes I have tendency to inform people rather than being a projector. So all this
Because of the
deconditioning
open
started to
throat.
open throat, and I have this gate 12 as a weak point in my dream wave as well, and connecting to my 22. So that gave me, very moody manifestor. Without this awareness, I I used to tell people I'm a person who are really moody, and people feedback to me was, you are not an easy person to deal with on emotional level. But now I'm able to face conversations with people, on an emotional level, and still remain calm and cool as a Splenic projector. I think that is a big transition in my life, uh, in my awareness and consciousness as well. So yeah, I really enjoy the conditioning process and experiment. I'm still looking forward to see what's unfold.
I can relate. I also have the open solar plexus and open ego. So those two go the deepest. So in the conditioning hierarchy. So it's, oh yeah, man, those are a doozy, just always trying to please people and then never feeling like you did good enough.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. The guilt, the shame, can take like years embedded in your memory, and not, you're not realizing, and keep reliving that shames and guilt. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. I've been using this analogy with the open solar plexus lately about, when you're at the beach and you see a wave coming in, if you run from it, it takes you down and you eat this, you eat sand. but if you just go right through it and face it, it's just, you just go out to the other side and it's almost effortless.
Yeah, I love that. I love that analogy. It's just amazing to be able to observe.
So are you surrounded by emotional beings?
Yes, yes. I live with one. She's a 2-5 emotional manifesting generator, pure manifesting generator. So the connections created as a 9-0 single definition, those deep, deep conditionings there, and able to, plus the solar plexus is in my nodal environment. So I have both personality and design nodal environments all in the solar plexus. So yeah, I've been told in one of the reading, the analyst told me, she said, you're a splenic projector, but you have an emotional life. So can't run away from them. So the best way, like your analogy, surfing through that wave in order to learn what emotional intelligence really is.
Yeah, I have the 55, hanging 55 in my open solar plexus. So I'm, you know, my wife's always saying, yeah, you're not emotional, but you're moody as anything, man. Just days on end, just hanging down on everyone else's moods.
Yes. Yeah. With my 22, yeah, I can relate with that. The moodiness, yeah.
Speaking of that, I know you're on the cross of service. And just since I mentioned that, my wife's on the cross of service too. So I know that very logical energy well. And so yeah, that must be interesting. How is that for you, being on such a logical, having such a logical chemistry, and being a projector where you needed to be invited to share what is right. And also, like we were chatting earlier about your Uranus opposition is coming up, has a highly individual flavor to it.
Yeah.
How's that all, I guess I just threw out a few things there. How's that all play together for you right now?
Well, well, the things that are really seen obvious is the changes in how I see things, how I experience things. So I'm more towards, what's there for the collective? How can I fix this? And of course, through that, the conditioning, trying not to fix every individual that I met, really waiting for invitations, just be my perversions. I have this sun personality, get 58 in line 2, perversions, just doing things, whatever that I want to do. People think I'm weird, whatever. I don't, to a point that I don't really care what people think about me. But then the transition slowly set in, and I start to see, hold on, I start to see myself more. I start to understand what this joyful energy really is, that I really enjoy just being me, just really enjoy seeing what this unfold, where this direction takes me. And I started to feel that really need to contribute, because the Uranus positions in the cross of contagions, in the gate 8, the contribution, I really feel that, I really feel being called out to contribute to the collective as well, and see where or how we can correct certain things. But of course, from invitations to another invitations to another invitations. Mm-hmm. But right now, just being quite right, just live my life as how it's supposed to be, not trying to figure out how to survive this, and just observe as a projector, observe and see what's going on around the world, what's happening, what's unfolding. So it really takes good mental health to not get dragged by thinking this is madness, something is not right with me. Yeah.
I noticed, I'll post your chart when we get this video up, if you're okay with that.
Yeah, I'm okay with that.
But looking at your chart too, I see you have almost this full stream of intuition from, the channel of struggle, and then you have half the stream of, or half the channel of the brainwave.
Yeah.
57.
Yes.
So
57.
It's almost like there's this part of you, looking to have that full individual circuitry kind of come to life and give expression to your purpose. So I can just see how that having that eighth gate activation in this Uranus transit for you, it probably feels good to have some of that individual energy activated to give purpose for your individual contribution.
Yeah, I do feel that. I'm actually feel not scared or fear seeing how that's going to unfold. And still part of me looking into what's going on in a logical way, what's the patterns there, through my 52 assess the patterns saying and things, but can't help it to really express it in a very individual way.
So do you feel your work as a guide, like an LYD guide, is a good outlet for you to bring that contribution to the collective?
Yeah, I do. And the LYD guide, the teaching, I love teaching. I love guiding. I love sharing the awareness and experience, especially through my channel of abstractions, the 6447, making sense of our experience. And I also have this opportunity through invitations to work with Lisa Marie as we form into these communications as through projector, and trying to not just teaching but rather sharing with people, with the collective, how we would do hopefully better as we move forward into the future. So yeah, I'm a wide split splenic projector, really designed to be collaborate with other people. Or I wait for years to see who will ask me, knock my hermit door and ask me to collaborate with them. I have few people that I collaborate with, and I feel that it's just relaxing to just wait and see when is the right timing to contribute. And LYD is definitely one of the great platform for me to really transform one individual at a time as projector as well.
Do you have a vision for how you'd like to be recognized, or I guess, can I ask you it that way? That is there, yeah, I mean, you're here, you see your son's in the 58, right? You're a 58 son.
Yes.
So
yeah, 58 son.
Yeah, so this is your perversion to the world. How are you? What's your great perversion that you would love to guide others with?
Well, I haven't thought of that way. I mean, I used to think how I want my life or how I want the success to look like, but I really come to a point where I really don't know where is this going. Truly being that I really don't know where is this going. And I remember yesterday I talked to one of the LYD guide student in training, helping them. I also helped Lavina to assist her living your design guide training. I told her, I said that I couldn't access what's in the metric. I couldn't see what's there for in the future. Maybe something's going on in the metric as we know the transitions from cross of planning to the cross of sleeping phoenix. There's nothing much to see in the future, but rather living in the now. And I don't know how people see me, how perverse I am, but what I can say through my experience is that there are some people couldn't take my stimulations, too much for them. But there are some people who recognize me. They enjoy my living your design class. They say that I teach very differently. The way I share the experience make them see things differently. So I guess I kind of like to do things differently. I have that 2838 as well, doing it my own way. Probably that give more nuances to that perversion. But I really don't know how people see me perversely. I remember Lisa Marie says, I'm full of joy. She really wants to feel that joyful energy as well. But for me, it makes sense. I'm a hermit. I don't know that I have that joyful until someone point out to me, hey, you have that. I want some. Yeah.
Yeah. Something about the channel of judgment. I mean, people I meet with a channel of judgment, they emit this heart joy, joy of life energy. It doesn't seem that the name of the channel kind of throws it off. Would you call that channel something else?
Channel of joyfulness, I would say that. Channel of joyfulness, if it's
Okay.
not correcting people, it's just correcting and perfecting my own life. Like I can sit in front of the computer or with my video on and just perfecting playing ukulele, like just perfecting and perfecting and perfecting it. Just feel giggle alone in the room. So it's just full of joyfulness without that. You're right, without that sense of judgment. Yeah.
That's beautiful. I kind of similarly, I like to call the channel of struggle, because those are two of the ones that kind of rub people the wrong way if they don't have a context for it.
Yeah. Yeah.
I like to call it the channel of breakthrough or channel of victory, because that's the point. That's the struggle. The struggle is to get to the breakthrough. The struggle is to get, push through until you get to the other side and achieve the victory. And then you're going to go through it again, but you can focus on the struggle, or you can focus on, on the breakthrough. So, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. That's true. That's true. I actually feel grateful to have that 2838 in my life. I think that 2838 really hold me strongly in my individuality. Otherwise, I would be just completely collective, just wanting to fix everything. But that individual put me in the perspective, in a position where I'm doing it in my individual way, in my perverse individual way. And I remember your questions about that recognition of how perversions will look like. I get a better sense of this. I'm doing human design Malaysia. So when I got my first living your design guide certifications, I was the only first one professional that got the professional certified title in Malaysia. And I put that human design on Malaysia, exposing human design in a more professional way, so to speak. Not that I'm doing that alone. I've seen a couple of friends that I get them to do the same thing. But what I notice is that human design is still new over here. And though people hear about human design, but they do not feel very receptive to it, because human design is all about change your decision making strategy. And every single time when people come and look for me, ask me or telling me their problem and ask me for an advice, I really throwing back to them the authority. So that is purpose for them. So not many people like how I handle things or how I advise them. They want to do something that immoral. I told them, your authority respond to it, so go ahead. So it kind of like turn off, like they put me into a positions where they say, well, I come to you hoping that you will tell me something that don't do it. I said, no, I give you back. So yeah, I see that human design through how I express it can be quite perverse to some people. Yeah.
That's powerful. There's obviously a whole cultural element to what you're working with.
Yeah.
And probably meeting a lot of tribal, ingrained tribal, or I don't know. I'm not really. I've done a lot of world traveling, but I haven't been to Malaysia, so I can't say I really know. But I imagine it's a little bit it's progressive in some ways and a little old school in other ways.
Yeah, yeah. It truly depending on my network, but I'm grateful that I have network that always referring me to someone who really open to receive the knowledge. Otherwise, I wouldn't do it. I come to a point that I don't even try to sell myself out there. Just stay in the house, being totally hermit until someone knock my door. Hey, Rose, I need your service.
Very cool. Very cool. Yeah, so good, just great example that well, I mean, a lot of things I feel like you've been talking about are a great example of being just such a receptive person as well. You know, we're talking about being a hermit, but also being quad right. Just letting everything come to you and pull everything out of you is a journey as well, a whole journey to get to know, to settle into that experience, to know that there's really, when you're quad right, I mean, I'm 3 parts right, there's nothing to do. It all just gets pulled out of you. And I can say I'm really enjoying that experience these days. And kind of just watching it happen, just even right now, just my mouth is just talking, it's just coming out, you know.
I can see that. I recognize that. It's very difficult for you to find the structure. You know, yeah. I mean, for me, it's easy when people come to me and I have undefined throat for people to ask me questions. It's easy. The moment they ask questions just came out. I don't know what's in there. And I learn, as you know, I believe you experience the same thing. We learn better as we expressed, as we say it, because we don't know what we keeping inside, what we're holding, the information that we have. Very, very massive information that we're holding on to that we don't know.
So do you feel like, do you mostly work with, or do you feel like you notice a trend in who comes to you? A lot of projectors, a lot of generators, a little bit of everyone?
A little bit of everyone. Manifesting generators have tendency to approach me, maybe because of this 28 to 38 that I have, pure manifesting generators. And I think after somewhere around 2019, I started to see projector more emerge into connecting with me. And then I started to do LYD for projectors as well. Before that, I've been asking where is projectors? I haven't seen any projectors around me. But slowly I start to see more projectors come to contact with me. I enjoy connecting with Splenic Projector, really helping them, guiding them to really understand how Splenic actually works.
Yeah. Do you feel like type works best with type?
It's very interesting questions. There are difference. When I teach living your design to projectors, it's very, you know, really a class full of people who just want to study. It's a projector. They're really intellectually interested. When I teach classes for generators, these classes full of, you know, laughing response, is the vibe feels very different. But for me, I feel that it's all about timing and who recognized you, because I don't say that we projector is the best than teaching generator or manifesting generator, because sometimes generator and manifesting generator do need a projector to guide them in terms of sacral. But yeah, same type probably have like probably generator or manifesting generator go to you, they probably recognize sacral sounds better. And but in terms of one-on-one interactions, I really start to explore projector and projector connections deeply and intimately. I feel that it's very different in terms of frequency of how projector and projectors connecting to each other compared to projectors and generator. Like I'm living with manifesting generator. If she's not responding to me, there's no point trying to put my face in front of her and asking her or telling her anything. She's just completely not responding to you, just walk away. But it's different with projector, because for a projector, when you're really looking at into another projector, they're like, oh, wait, someone sees me. And then I get to be seen back, so it's, the reflection is very different.
I mean, is that a given that projectors automatically see each other, or is there, can projectors also not really recognize each other too?
Yeah, it goes both ways. I do meet projectors that doesn't recognize each other. I love projectors who experimenting with human design. The awareness really changes in very in many levels. So I really enjoy communicating with projectors who are going through the conditioning process compared to, well, I met some projectors out there, but when they're really dense in their conditioning, it's very difficult to talk to them. Yeah.
Yeah. What about with the manifesting generator that you live with? You've both been in this experiment for quite a few years together. How have you,
Yeah.
and she's emotional too. So how have you noticed that? It's really interesting to go side by side with someone in this journey, especially from scratch, and to see how your relationship evolves together. How's that been?
Well, she's not fully into human design. I can see that she's not responding to human design in terms of educational level.
Mm-hmm.
But she started to really wait. I mean, she's before human design, she's already take time to make decisions, but she's really slowing down, taking time to really processing things. She's too far. She really doesn't really want to get involved with people and all that. The
Mm-hmm.
projections really doesn't like it. And what I noticed is that the moment that I started to go into my experiment, the frequency that shift really helping her to really recognize her own design
Mm-hmm.
as how, her aura always feel me open and enveloping, feel me in. And when I started to wait to talk, I started to wait for me to get invited. And she started to feel that, did I respond to this? So sometimes she will come back to me and say, so I have this problem. People ask me this, and then I say this. Is it correct that I respond this way? So it's kind of like interesting when she started to wanting to figure out herself and how she responds things. And when there's no clarity for her to make decisions, she just said, nope, I don't feel anything. I don't feel any clarity. So not even wanting to even talk about any decision that she want to make. Yeah. So I can see it's unfolding in her slowly as she transitioning to she's entered her Chiron return as well. So started to see that she living in her individuality, pure manifesting generator, cross off unexpected, and being her own leader, being in her own self. I just like, okay, I see this, how this transforming in her is just beautiful.
That's that makes me think of a really um interesting point that I think is great to address, which is, a lot of not everyone, a lot of people are alone out there in their experiment, first of all. um a lot of I'm fortunate to live in a city where a lot of people are into human design. I was just uh a few months ago, my wife and I were out to dinner, kind of on a little patio thing, and this girl comes out of the same place on the talking on the phone and saying, "Finally, I'm a projector being recognized," about something, and we're just sitting there going, "Wow, that's awesome." But overhearing just someone talk about
Yeah.
their human design journey on the phone. But so it's around here. But well, first of all, a lot of people are alone in their, wherever they are in the world. And then a lot of us are, we're all human design geeks, of course, but uh the people in our lives, they dabble. They might be dabblers, or
Yeah.
or you know, like you said, not gravitate fully towards the educational path, I think was the way you put it. So that's so I think that's something great to address and encourage and support other people on the HD path. Is, you know, it's not a problem. I mean, that's if they're working with just, you know, if they're just aware of their emotional wave, or there's something with their G center, or whatever that one or two elements are in their design, you know, that's great. They can progress, they can decondition, they can have a awareness with just even us reflecting back those little things or whatever. You want to, I mean, you want to add to that at all?
Yeah. Well, that's it. This is what I always told to, especially my generators, manifesting generators, family and members in my network that doesn't really want to, you know, go into educational level of human design. Whenever they come back to me, I always ask them a question: are you satisfied with what you do? So if they're satisfied, that is good enough for me, because that frequency itself change for them. And I've seen that with my family member, with Joe as well. If she's frustrated, then I will ask her, step in and then ask her, do you want me to ask you questions? You know, if she said no question, that I know she will just wanted to be in that frustration, so I just leave her alone. But if she wanted that, I will ask her a question to shift that back into a satisfaction. It's really not about I mean, it's good to have a knowledge about what makes you frustrated, but as projector, when I've been called out to service, I would try to, you know, ask questions that point that out for them, just to give them a general sense of what makes them satisfied and what's frustrated. But after that, always go back. I'll remind them, it's not, if you're not responding to go to educational level, that's fine. But always keep yourself checked that, are you frustrated or are you satisfied with your life?
And then you can hand out your phone number. We can call you and you can ask us questions.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Well,
what's up before you call?
WhatsApp. Okay.
Yeah.
Shoot
WhatsApp, messenger
over.
me. Yeah. Yeah.
Hey, you can start a service called Ask Rose, or ask Rose to ask you. Ask Rose to ask me questions.
Yeah, I do have, most of my network, I'm really holding my network very close to my heart. You know, I always step in. I always tell them, I'm not going to call you out, especially with generator, manifesting generator, or manifestor. I'm not going to call you out. You have to reach me if you needed my help. If I be there instantly, I can be there instantly for you. Otherwise, you have to wait. And when I step in, I'll just going to guide you, be my service as part of how I nurture my network. Yeah. But also very selective of who I allow to enter my network as well, because of the 2-4. I started to learn to be selective as well. Yeah.
And that open heart and solar plexus, just not saying yes to everybody.
Exactly. Taking time to really feel whether or not this person is correct for me, whether the recognition is there. It's not just me putting my service for everyone, but rather, do I get the recognitions back for projector? Yeah.
Well, it's been beautiful to witness your journey over the last few years, and just coming into being a guide and seeing you really own the knowledge and share some of your humor and personal life in different ways. And I really appreciate your courageousness in sharing your musical explorations. That's not easy to post that stuff online in front of everybody.
Thank you. Yeah.
There's actually been times where you've inspired me to be like, hey, if Rose can do it, I can post it. She can post this thing of her strumming the same chords on her ukulele. I can probably play a song on my guitar too.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, I know, I know. I mean, yeah, at one point I don't know how or why I do what I do. It's just that it feels so joyful to do it. And I just really feel like, you know, if you recognize me, you feel that joyous, there you go, you have it. If you not recognize me, that's fine too. Just put it out there. Um, I guess the undefined truth as well, you know, certain moment I do feel like, oh, this seeking attention, attracting attention feels good for me. So.
Mm-hmm. Well, I think, you know, I think the world needs more um, people to, I know perversion is the word that you've been referring to, but, you know, that pressurized poking from the root center, I think we need some, you know, we need that, you know, we need we need a little humor, little stimulating humor to
Yeah,
get us out of our heads and into our bodies. So,
yeah,
and
I do agree.
people want that real, you know, people want real talk. You know, I had a client the other day. You know, I cursed a few times while I was giving the reading. I said, "Oh, sorry." So she said, "Oh no, you know, please, I'll feel way more comfortable if you're swearing during the reading." So I started f-bombing every other word and teaching her, you know, doing her
Exactly.
foundation reading. She loved it. You know, whatever, silly.
Exactly. I mean, we show the real self. That is the most important things, and not trying to sugarcoat everything. I mean, this is life. I mean, life is not always beautiful, but you can, you know, through your design, you live your life the way that you intended to live your life. I have no choice. I born into these perversions, joyous, intense, joyous sometimes. Then, yeah, just gotta have to show that.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Well, um, this was my, well, hopefully gift or opportunity to you to recognize you and to uh, you know, call you out a little bit and because you do have a very active presence, but you know, it's nice to get to know you a little bit better and to see your service and your um understand you a little better. So thank you so much for sharing yourself today. And anything else you want to you share? Any projector guidance you'd like to offer before we kind of wrap things up here?
Um, well, I think my message to everyone out there, especially projectors who are going through the conditioning process, just trust your process and don't do it alone. Don't do it alone. Even to generate a manifesting generator, don't do it alone. Always have the right people to assist you. Talk to people who are going through that deconditioning process, because otherwise you feel lost, especially in these massive transitions that we're going through. It might pull you into deep down into this rabbit hole, and you might just lost yourself in there. Yeah.
Mm. Well, that's a
And
beautiful message that probably some people really need to hear right now. So,
yeah, yeah. And thank you for calling again. Thank you for this invitation and calling me out. And yeah, I mean, I love our connections, even though we rarely talk, but I always recognize you and your work through the human design system and how we work together through Lavina's platform. Yeah.
mhm. Well, maybe next time we can do a an online guitar ukulele jam with some
Let's
human
try.
design. We'll make it with some human design lyrics. So
Okay. Yeah, well, we can try. I'm still exploring the ukulele, but I don't know. I never try, never go to classes. Just walk into a ukulele shop, pick one,
yeah,
come home, download the music sheets, see what chords to play, and then just strum. I was like, oh, I can play. So
yeah.
I just
I
like,
I
okay,
taught
let's
myself piano and guitar. I took drum
yeah.
lessons growing up, but other than that, all these other you know, very melodic instruments, I just, went off by myself and probably got high a little bit and played the guitar for 4 hours.
Yeah, for me, I see that the human body at some point are very talented if we really just let it show us what the talent really is. Amazing.
Awesome. Well, thank you, Rose. Wonderful to have you and
Thank you,
connect with
Peter.
you today. And hope you guys enjoyed our third line day video. It's officially, we're officially in the 34-3. So this was actually a third line day today. So we bumped our way through the interview, and here we are. So anyway, thank you so much, Rose, and everyone have a beautiful day. Bye for now.